Friends, something clearly isn't adding up here, right? The shutdown officially ended. The government is working again. But instead of growth, Bitcoin is breaking through the bottom $98,000 and the market is collapsing. Everyone is asking, what's going on? Why is crypto falling if the news is supposed to be positive? And if you're looking at the chart right now and thinking, what's next? This video is for you. Before we start, this is not financial advice. Everything I talk about is my personal view and opinion. Use it as an additional perspective, not a call to action. Friends, let's immediately close the popular myths flying around on Twitter. The market isn't falling because some whale moved coins to an exchange. Not because China or Russia are selling everything, and definitely not because some economist called crypto a scam. These people have been saying that for 10 years already. These explanations are convenient because they can justify any dump. But the facts are simple. There is no data supporting any of these narratives. It's noise, nothing more. I'll tell you even more. Big players are actually accumulating Bitcoin, and last week became the second largest week of BTC buying in the entire past year. First, crypto just went through a wave of brutal flash liquidations. Longs with leverage were wiped out in minutes. Forced closures dragged the entire market down, classic crypto behavior. Second, traditional markets are shaking as well. Institutional position selling, mini blowups of funds, nerves after the AI rally, all of this creates pressure. This isn't a crypto collapse. This is a cleansing, over-leveraged positions are being flushed out, and the market becomes healthier after such resets. And here comes the logical question. If the shutdown finally ended, why didn't the market pump immediately? Because the shutdown looks great in headlines, but it doesn't change the main thing. Markets aren't moved by political news. Markets are moved by interest rates, liquidity, and expectations from the Federal Reserve. Government reopened? Good. But monetary policy remains the same. Let me explain what we should focus on right now. The next Fed meeting is scheduled for December 9th to 10th, and that's exactly where the real outcome will be decided. Whether the market gets a chance to recover or gets hit with another wave of pressure. If the Fed signals easing, the market will revive. If the Fed stays hawkish or says it's too early to cut, that means a stronger dollar, less liquidity, and pressure on all risk assets. So in short, the end of the shutdown improves the background but does nothing for liquidity. The Fed's decision does. Expectations right now are extremely mixed. The probability of a rate cut in December, about 50%, and it's precisely this uncertainty that keeps the market frozen. Investors aren't rushing into big positions, funds avoid unnecessary risk, and traders don't chase impulses. That's why the charts look choppy instead of showing a clean rebound after the shutdown news. If the Fed says something dovish, even without an actual rate cut, the market can breathe again. If they hint at delays, hikes, or continued inflation fighting, we might see another cooling phase. Simply because the market reacts not to news, but to the availability of capital. And that's why the end of the shutdown didn't become a trigger. It doesn't add liquidity to the system. It's just a political event. But money, interest rates, the dollar, and QT, these are the levers that decide whether crypto grows or falls. And until we hear the Fed's decision, the market will behave exactly like this. Cautiously, nervously, and without a clear trend.
3, 2, 1, fire!
Friends, the most important thing right now is understanding where exactly Bitcoin is standing and why this zone truly determines the fate of the entire market. Because we're not just moving inside a range, not just waiting for a reversal. We are standing between two scenarios that can push the market in completely opposite directions. This is a moment of choice, and the market is preparing its answer. Let's look at the current chart. Today, BTC is trading below 100,000, and this is no longer just a number. It's a psychological level, a support that held almost the entire year, and one that unfortunately has now been broken. This alone signals a shift in market sentiment. And now the question is simple. Is this a deep correction or a massive liquidity grab before another strong move up? In my previous videos, I warned multiple times, if BTC consolidates below 100,000, the door opens straight to 94,000. Why exactly 94K? Because it's the next major liquidity cluster. It's where millions in long positions are sitting. It's a level the market has been building for months, and if 94K doesn't hold, next stop is 88K. And that's no longer just a correction. That's where we find a previous accumulation zone, the first pullback after the parabolic leg, a huge pool of resting orders the market may want to collect. Touching 88K means entering a scenario of long-term cooling. That's where the market can freeze for months, forming a wide sideways range and building a new base for the next cycle. Now, friends, let's move to the second scenario, the positive one. Because despite fear, panic, and liquidations, the market still leaves us a narrow door for reversal. But this door is small, and you can only walk through it under one condition. A wick there is meaningless. We need volume. We need confirmation. Crypto loves fake breakouts. It loves grabbing liquidity and reversing, leaving everyone in losses. So what is 110,000, and why is it such a critical level? In this zone, we have huge amounts of shorts open during the drop, a level that was tested before the dump but never held. The exact point from which a new impulse toward ATH can start. This isn't just a number. This is the level that decides whether we continue the correction or begin forming a new trend. And what about altcoins? Unfortunately, everything here depends on Bitcoin. While BTC dominance stays above 50%, there is no altcoin season. And only the strongest altcoins will survive this phase. Right now, the market is staring at one chart, BTC. Until Bitcoin chooses a direction, altcoins are simply trying to survive. But if you do want to analyze or accumulate some altcoins, make sure you look at the core fundamentals. If a project shows strength even now, it might be worth attention, but always remember the possibility that a bear market may be starting. On my channel, I've already covered several such assets, both the obviously weak ones with clear red flags and the more promising ones. Friends, thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, and remember, this is not financial advice, just my perspective on the market. If you want me to review your favorite coin, write it in the comments.